Hey guys, Radio Guy here. Today we're going to be doing a truck installation of a Anytone radio, and I just wanted to show you guys some of the tools we're going to be using. The box over here on the right hand side is the Anytone radio, and then above that we have some wiring split loom. That's to protect the wire in the engine compartment from the heat the engine's going to produce. We have standard wrenches and metric wrenches because we need to connect to the battery, and we're not quite sure what this vehicle has. What I do is I use solid core wire as a fish tape, so I can poke that through the firewall and pull our cable through the firewall. This is what we use to connect to the battery. There's a double fuse here and little eyelets to hook on, and it has power pole connectors. This is made by PowerWorks. It's an ATC style fuse holder, 12 gauge with ring terminals. This is available at hamradio.com, ham radio outlet, or you can go to PowerWorks website and order directly. Some people like to use, I call the zip line. This is 18 gauge. It's kind of small for the radio we're doing, so we're not going to use this 18 gauge stuff. What I like to use when I install radios is this. It's actually, it's called structured wiring, speaker wire, like meant to go for home stereo speakers, but you have your red and black for the DC power, and then it has an outer jacket on it that's nice and thick and durable. So if this gets scratched or scuffed, you're not going to go straight into your power cables. You have a little bit of extra insulation. You can get this in all different gauges. Right now we're going to use 16 gauge today. This is a power pole crimping tool. Bought this at hamradio.com, also available at PowerWorks. Power pole connectors to crimp on to your power cable, and razor knife. From my other video, I like these little 7-inch antennas. They're made by Laird. We use radios for GMRS here, so this is with a GMRS antenna or UHF business radio. You're going to want a flashlight of some kind to look underneath the dash and find wires that you're pulling, and also zip ties. So this is just a basic setup. We'll come back here and show you a little more in just a second. This is the engine bay we're working on. It's a Dodge Ram 6.7 liter turbo diesel engine. It's got 2 batteries. I've poked around in the firewall to try to find a pass-through where we can get the power wire from a battery and go into the cab with it. And what I found is this truck had an amplifier installed before. You can see right here is the fuse for the amplifier, and let me see here. See if you guys can see down in there. So this white wire right here is my solid core wire that I'm going to use for a pull tape. And I found a hole in one of the rubber grommets where the power wire for the amplifier has already been pushed through. So I pushed this through, and I'm going to hook on the power wire and pull the power wire through the firewall. Alright, so this is inside the vehicle. You can see that my white wire is coming out from underneath the dash where I pushed it through. And what I'm going to do is I like to loop my wires over and tape the heck out of them. And you need to tape all the way past this point, because when you're pulling this through the firewall, if this is poked out like that, you're going to snag another wire and you're going to rip it. And you don't want to rip any important wires out of the firewall. Trust me on that. It's expensive. So I'm going to tape this from here all the way through here. Make sure your tape's nice and tight. What's going to happen is if I don't tape this up tight, you're going to lose one of the wires, and then you have to try to push it through the firewall again, and that's no fun either. Alright, there, my tape is done. We're going to go around to the other side and start pulling.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Alright guys, so here we go. We got the white wire coming through the firewall. We got the fuse block right here connected to the battery. There we go. We got positive post and a negative post. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be crimping on power pole connectors to the white wire so that it can be compatible with the battery. Alright, so there's a power pole connection, and I'm going to tell you, repeat, do not plug it in until you get the other end inside the truck terminated. You're going to short something out and blow up the battery. And just a caution, when you do this kind of stuff, you're going to bleed. You're going to bleed a little bit. And if you're watching this radio, or if you're watching this video, you're probably already a little bit of a radio nerd. So don't start crying on me. Buck up. It's okay to bleed a little bit. And all right, you already made it out of your mama's basement, so we're making good progress here. All right, so we're not going to plug this in. We're going to leave it here. At this point, I'm going to go get the split wire loom, and we're going to shield this stuff to keep it off the keep it away from the heat from the engine. All right, so this is my wire right here. It goes through the firewall. I got the split loom on it. I wrapped it around the back side of the battery. It goes all the way back here, then over through the firewall. The split loom stops at the firewall because it's too hard to pull through. And I even got a smaller split loom for the battery connections here. I'm going to try to protect this stuff as much as possible. Everything's going to connect. And I'll probably end up zip tying this, but I'm not going to plug it in yet because I have to finish inside the cab first.